Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Bastards post-game show. I am Nick. We also have Brendan here in the background with his Larry Bird lucky yellow shirt. He's got the regular Boston Blues on for a nice little show we have here tonight with a nice 5-4 victory for the Red Sox in our nation's capital against the Washington Nationals. You had Nick Pivetta on the hill for the Red Sox, was able to provide some steadiness to a game that your bullpen really held down the fort and were able to get you that. It was a nail biter, but we were able to pull off a 5-4 win. We'll take every win that we can get right now. Brendan, welcome in. How we doing?
Nick, I'm feeling good. I feel like Pivetta met expectations tonight. I set a similar bar with Pivetta and Cutter Crawford as these fringe starters. You want to get at least 4 out of them, go into that 5th inning, and once they start getting lit up, then you take it to your pen, which is stacked. This bullpen put on a master class tonight. Pivetta, he got in a little bit of a jam in that 3rd inning. He gave up a bunch of runs, but he pulled through, got into that 5th inning, and then you had the likes of Schreiber and Winkowski, Martin, Jansen, just all bullpen teams. Yeah, there's no bullpen that I've ever seen that is as stacked as this squad. You can really run out these fringe starters in these games and get away with it because of how stacked your pen is. And the Sox did a great job on offense too, and I'll let you get into that.
The biggest thing that, before we get into the offense and everything on this bullpen stuff, is I completely agree with you, Brendan. This bullpen, top to bottom, is very much a weapon that this team has. You have a lot of depth, and I'm going to even start, even if he is at the bottom, Chris Murphy, even if he is down there, the guy's having a tremendous season as a major league pitcher for the Red Sox. Wasn't so hot with the Worcester Red Sox, but he came up here, was able to fill in and spot starts and long relief and find a role. And I think that's been what's so important for this Red Sox team, is they've been able to find roles for these guys and really kind of make it work. And then you have the likes of Bernardino, who caught lightning in a bottle with him. Who would have known and who would have thought that this guy was going to be this productive and this efficient on this team and be so needed and trusted? He gets the job done. You get Schreiber back, who's now healthy. And again, you know how I've advocated for it. The guy's not an opener. We don't have to worry about this opener nonsense right now. To me, I can breathe a sigh of relief knowing that we have 5 days, 5 starters, that we can at least be serviceable and we can count on them. That shows me a team that hasn't quit, that is still in the fight, that is still going to be there. Whether they get all the way or not, they're still going to be competitive and still try and find a way to kind of get themselves into a groove. And they're doing that, which is great. But the health is another thing that's super important for this team. We saw her on Sunday with Garrett Whitlock returning. They're going to give him a couple days off. He should be able to go tomorrow, at least for 2 innings. That's what I'm hearing. So that means that the guys that were used today, you should be able to still now have Chris Murphy to use. Wouldn't be surprised if you can see somebody else, at least that threw tonight, give you an inning.
Yeah, maybe Jansen at the end when you're up. Definitely
should be able to do something like that and kind of go from there and see where you're at from the game tomorrow. Now, this series, I think you and I are counting this as a sweep. I don't want to speak for you, but is that how you're at least thinking?
Nick, definitely. The business trip hasn't ended yet. We're still on this trip, and they have to take care of all 3. That is the bar set for this team right now. You're better than the Nationals. You have a very tough schedule coming up that you have to at least split in. Right now, you have to sweep Washington and finish off the business trip strong. We were talking about Paxton coming up next, and then Chris Sale. And Chris Sale is definitely going to still be on his pitch count, but I expect a great performance coming out of James Paxton tomorrow. He's due for a great one. And then who knows what you can see out of Chris Sale when he is on. He's shown he can be very productive on the hill.
You have Mackenzie Gore going tomorrow for the Nationals. He's 6-9 with a 4.62 ERA in 23 games that he's thrown this year in 117 innings. Not such a quality guy right there by any means. He is a lefty. That is something that I'll be curious to see what the lineup's going to look like, at least for tomorrow, on what Cora goes with. His last start out was against the Phillies, and he did take the loss, went 5 innings, gave up 6 earned runs. So, again, it's a lefty on the hill. I want to see Casas still in that lineup. Obviously, you're going to see the Justin Turners, but it's going to be curious to see what are they going to do with Duran. Is Duran going to play? Is Verdugo going to play? I'm curious to see where they go. I do know, at least from the rumors and rumblings that I've heard, at least from today, that Yoshida, they're going to try and even sit him for these 3 games. They want to get him right. And I'm going to agree with the team on this approach. You and I have also said the same, that this is a different transition on coming to play Major League Baseball. It's a lot different than it is in Japan. There's more games. There's less days off. There's all this rhythm that gets out of sync and out of whack. I want to see Yoshida be a difference maker, and I don't want to see Yoshida go out there if he's hurt and banged up and injured. Let's get him right. Let's get him right, especially in a national series right now where this is not a good team. This Nationals team is not. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but if you don't sweep this, I'm going to go off the deep end. I'm just going to put it out there right now. I'm going to go full out splash right into that deep end, and I will annihilate them all if they don't take care of their business, like we've said, Brendan.
Yeah, Nick, I've been advocating the last week that it was time to sit Yoshida. I saw his performance drop, and I saw a pattern earlier in the season when he hits too much carry load, he starts to fall off. And I feel like that's what we've been seeing a little bit with these young guys trying to adjust to a 162 game season against pure major league competition in the likes of Duran. He was 1 for 23 of his last 24 appearances before this game. Casas, he's been ascending, but Bayo is another one where I feel like the grind is starting to wear on these young kids, and sometimes they need to take a seat. And that's why you saw Duran. I mean, he was playing tonight, but that's why you see him in and out of the lineup sometimes. But I think that is best for Yoshida. I think you take advantage of this series against the Washington Nationals. You sit Yoshida and you get him ready because you have a big series coming up, and you need his on-base percentage going into this this series. Yeah, you need him on base for sure.
There was a particular player tonight for the Red Sox who should have had ball 4 and should have been on base. Yeah. That was Justin Turner. I just want to tell you how I would have approached that with my hot head and temper at times when it came to playing in baseball. That helmet probably would have been thrown at the gut of Bruce Dreckman. I just want to put that out there. That's what would have been done. I don't know how Justin Turner didn't lose his composure and get thrown out of this game. That was one of the most embarrassing calls I have seen this season in Major League Baseball. Notice I'm not saying all time, because that Armando Galarraga call with Jim Joyce to lose that perfect game no-hitter was atrocious. Yeah. That was one of the worst. I do have to also go back to, it was either 2014 or 15 when the Red Sox were playing the Yankees. It was down, I think it was 3-2, and Ron Culpa rung David Ortiz up with 3 straight
15.
pitches that were in, was it 15?
Yeah.
Not even close to the strike zone. And then, of course, we know Angel Hernandez. Here's my take. And here's my point I want to make on this. If you know umpires by their first and last name, that is not a good thing, folks. That is not a good thing. I just want to fully admit that right now. If you know Bruce Dreckman's name, that's his name, folks. That's his name. Get it in your mind, because the guy doesn't deserve to be a major league umpire. A robot's better than him. If you know the names of Angel Hernandez, Ron Culpa, Jim Joyce, get these buffoons out of here if they keep ruining the game. There's too much technology that we have in this day and age now for any of this nonsense to continue. 30 seconds, Brendan. What do you think?
Pride should not get in the way of the integrity of the game. I think we'll go in James Paxton tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Nick, what do you think happens tomorrow?
I think we'll all be liking the smell of maple tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to leave it at.
It's a maple Wednesday coming up tomorrow, or Tuesday coming up
Get
tomorrow.
your maple syrup ready. We'll
Wednesday.
have it for you tomorrow night with the bacon and eggs. We'll see you later.